What's up guys, Dan here, Coalcracker. Chemlights. Should we be carrying them in our outdoor kits? Now, a younger version of me always had Chemlights in all of my emergency kits. And as I got a little bit older and I got more and more into survival and bushcraft, these things became less and less important to me. But now I have a 10-year-old son who is obsessed with them, just like I was when I was young. And it made me rethink Chemlights. And it made me pose the question to myself, are Chemlights valuable? And maybe I've been overlooking the value of them the entire time. So what I came up with after some recent evaluations, some recent testing with these things is, yes, they can definitely be a very valuable resource. I don't think they are extremely high on the scale of need for the outdoor goer. I think there are definitely other items that I would carry before I would put this in my kit. But in today's video, I just want to talk about 3 things for you to think about if you do put these inside your kit or your emergency kit and how useful they can be. All right, so number 1 is going to be they can replace a light source or help regain a light source. All right, so here's what I mean by this. These Chemlights, especially when they stay inside the wrapper, have a pretty good shelf life. So putting them inside a kit, unlike batteries that can go dead or leak, these things are going to prove to be a little bit reliable in the longer term. So if you do need a light and you find yourself in a dark situation in the woods, maybe just to get the fire going, or you drop your fire starter or your knife or something like that and it's dark and you don't have a flashlight or your flashlight is out, you can just crack one of these things open and it will give you some temporary light. Now I say temporary because most of these are going to burn out within about 12 hours, but that's a long time to have some extra light. You can also get these in white, so that's going to be your best option if you're going to use it for this purpose. Another cool thing that I found with these recently for myself is having an extra one of these in white. When my batteries go dead in my headlamps or flashlights, I can then just take my Chemlight, crack it, especially if it's in a pocket or somewhere that I know it's easily accessible, and then I can use this light to find my extra batteries and replace my headlamp. Because if you ever replace headlamp batteries in the dark, you know it's an absolute nightmare. So this is like that secondary lighting option. So I think it's definitely valuable for that. So sticking one extra one in your kit that's very accessible can definitely do wonders in that realm. Now, another thing that these things come into play with is for marking and identification. So they work really good around camp for marking where you travel. Okay, so if we're thinking about like you're in a big open area, like say school property, big fields, multiple trail entrances into different parts of the camp. You put one of these at the trailhead that goes directly to your camp and you can find your way. Also forks in the road, you put them at the correct side of that and then you know which way to travel. So marking can, these things can absolutely work wonders. All right, and then the third way, and this is the most useful way I think that this item fits into the survivalist outdoor goers kit is as an emergency signaling device. Now, I don't mean just by hanging this in a tree. Yes, that can definitely work. We just talked about how that is an option for identification and marking. You're laying on the ground, you're injured, you could get one of these up in a tree. Somebody searching for you should be able to see this pretty clearly. But another way to do this is something we call a buzzsaw. So what you do is you just take a piece of rope and you tie it on to your Chemlight. Okay, so you're just going to tie it on however you would like, and then what we do is we spin this really quickly around, either over our head, okay, to signal, let's say there's a helicopter coming for us, looking for us, or if we hear people out in the distance, we can spin this thing in front of us, which I'm going to show you here in a second, and it has a very distinct look to it. They're going to notice it. It's not going to be one of those things like we talk about with whistles. You blow a whistle and did I hear something? When you see this, you know that there's something going on there, and they're gonna explore that a little bit further. So this is what it looks like. All right, guys, so I am here, right? So you can see my stick. I'm in the downstairs of the warehouse with all the lights out. So what we got going on here, sorry about the echo, is when I start to do this, You can see how distinct that thing is. And I can shorten it up if I need. Again, for signaling, definitely something that individuals would notice while they're out there. So as you can see, that was like very distinct, right? Like that is something that's going to catch somebody's eye and definitely make them explore the area a little bit more. So if you're lost or in an emergency situation, to signal for like a rescue team, that is top notch. And that's really where I think that these things shine the most for the outdoor goer. So overall, I think like a useful item, not a necessity, but if you have them, I think having an understanding of different ways that you can use them is important, because like I said, I know as a kid, carrying these things all the time, I had no, other than they light up, and even then I was like, I never really put all the pieces together with them. So I wanted to do this video just so you understand, like, hey, these are very specific things you can do with this, and at least you're setting yourself up further for success when you carry items and it's not just being wasted. All right, guys, and there you go. That's today's video. If you liked it, hit like and subscribe down below. You can also check us out at coalcrackerbushcraft.com for all our classes, our gear, and our blog. And until the next video, glow and stay in the woods.